Hey, Shalom. It is Fallen Yeshua. Welcome again to the Rock. I'm sorry about how I sound right now. I am still getting my butt kicked. But little by little, I am feeling better. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night also because I was getting my butt kicked. But praise y'all. I'm here, alive. It's a nice day. Not too hot. I'm getting it done. Which brings me to the purpose of this video. Getting it done. That may be something a lot of people may want to consider. With these Trump tariffs, and excuse me, with these tariffs and you know prices going up, I was on Temu and I get some of my seed starting bags. Well, once I start something, I put it in the bag and I sell it from there. And on Temu, I usually bought them for like a penny a bag. Now they still were a penny bag. The problem is I was buying like 5 or 10,000 of them, and the tariffs were like $70. $70 for the imports. The imports. They're talking about the at the ports. There's shipping. The traffic is low, and how it's going to affect the economy and eventually jobs. And I want people to be aware of that because there's a significant shift that is taking place right now, and again, I apologize. There's a significant shift taking place. And if you're not aware and you're not paying attention, and most people aren't, most people do not have their eyes open. They just, they just live every day like it was the previous one. People are still living like it's 2000, you know. If you're not paying attention to what is happening, you're going to get eaten up. There are people right now that instead of taking care of what they have, they're pursuing new things. I want a new car. I want a new this. I want a new that. Not knowing that these things are going to come at a premium. And honestly, right now, as far as the job market goes, there could be a mass amount of layoffs. Not just layoffs. You're then talking about what kind of social calamity will come. I was reading the news today, and they said that Citibank was having banking issues, and their banks were down this morning. I think it was nationwide. People who had the credit cards or the bank cards were having a hard time accessing their savings accounts or their credit card accounts. But it amazes me how people, it's ingrained in us. We're going to go to the store, the stuff that we want's going to be there. I'm gonna buy a vehicle. Um, the parts that I'm going to need are going to be there. Everyone's taking things for granted today. I have a job, it's going to be there, and they're not really aware of what's happening. Everyone wants something new in a time where it isn't the time to do it. If you have a good friend, you may want to keep them. You have a relationship, you may want to keep it. You have whatever it may be, you may want to work on preserving it. One thing that's in this country is that we don't preserve what we have. This country is such a, we buy a car, when the new one comes out the next year, we trade in our car and get the new one. Everything's about the new. And I'm a person that I like old things. I like relationships that are old. You know, I don't like the newness of everything. I prefer to have a vehicle that I know that I've worked on than to go out and buy, a lot of these new trucks today, $70,000, $80,000. Aside from that, you're talking about a truck that you can do minimal work on. I like working on my vehicles. I like being able to, these newer vehicles, you can't even change the oil now. You got to take it to a special mechanic, or a dealership mechanic, and they'll charge you $200 for an oil change. When I do my own oil changes for what, $40, $40, oil, a premium filter, and damn, while I'm in there, I might as well check the spark plugs and make sure my hoses are good while the oil is draining out. We don't live in that culture anymore where people know how to do things, where people know how to prolong, where we know how to do maintenance, where we know how to take care of things. So as these Trump tariffs hit, what you're going to see is you're going to see calamity. You're going to see empty shelves. You're going to see the people that did not prepare, did not plan, are going to suffer. Um, People are going to focus on the basics. People are once it fully hits, people are not going to be looking to expand. They're not going to be looking to expand. What I mean by that is opportunities that were once there aren't going to be there anymore. Um, a lot of people are just going to be closing their arcs. And for those that are outside of an arc, that's going to be a scary moment. It's going to be a scary thing because always when times get bad, calamity ensues. When people don't have jobs and they resort to crime, and so you could see a subsequent increase in crime, an increase in theft, an increase in violent crime. I praise y'all I'm out here. I praise y'all I made the steps to continue to separate myself, and despite the ups and downs and the lefts and rights, you keep pushing forward, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for him. Um, if you see what's coming, be aware. The import costs are already hitting. Um, there's going to be some sort of economic fallback. And rather than just make the assumption that you're going to be okay, it might be a good idea to actually check to make sure you're okay. Take your time and do things right. If you can grow food, grow some food. Learn to grow some food. Take a class on how to grow some food. Food prices are going to go up because America does import a lot of food. And I know the whole end game of this is, well, manufacturing everything will come back to America. I think it's a sad misconception that people in this country want to work. People don't want to work here. People do not want to put in the work here. And I think it's a sad misconception. We have an obesity epidemic. We have a laziness epidemic. We have it doesn't matter how many jobs are available, how many plumbers we need, how many mechanics we need, how many construction workers we need. There, people don't want to do those jobs anymore. Everyone wants an office job where they can sit in an air-conditioned room and work. No, welders, just simple things. Farmers, you know, people don't want to do that work anymore. And we have a country of laziness. I know China did a little spoof, kind of funny about American population. They were showing like, maybe it was a commercial or an ad or something like that, but it showed these overly obese people putting iPhones together. America's not going to do that. People aren't going to be doing that sort of stuff. People want to go to the store and purchase a $1,200 iPhone. They do not want to build them. I think it's a misconception that the people in this country really want to do the work. You have a country of laziness. Everyone wants handouts. Nobody wants to work for anything. Everyone believes they deserve something. Everyone has these expectations that they should have these things. Nobody wants to work. And nobody wants to work hard, whether it be in their own house, in their own family. I mean, people don't even want to put in the work in their own family. You think they're going to go out when manufacturing comes back? You think people are actually interested? All the people that work those jobs are retiring. A significant shift is coming. I hope you are mentally ready for it, spiritually ready. We can talk about financially ready, but are you mentally and spiritually ready? Are you physically ready? Are you financially ready? Is your house intact? Is your uh, relationships intact? Are you still helter skeltering it, just wandering around? Or do you actually have a place to go, to stay, to lay your head, safety? Sisters, do you have a covering? Brothers, do you have another brother, some sort of brotherhood? Do we have anything, or are we just hoping for the best, which seems to be the going trend today? No plan, no goal, no destination. I'm just gonna, throw shit into the fan and see what sticks in a wall, and I guess make my decisions based on that. That's a terrible way to live life. Anyways, the prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. The foolish man passes on and is punished. Bless y'all and shalom.